You're listening to Good Time Charlie on Biker's Inner Circle, Underground Radio.
All right, everybody, how you doing? You just entered the Internet Highways. I'm your host, Good Time Charlie. We got a great interview for you today with Mr. Richie Lee. Richie Lee is the owner and editor of Saddle Tramp magazine. So we're going to talk about some motorcycles and motorcycle publications. All right, how you doing, Richie?
Good, Charlie. How are you?
Oh, man, fair to middling, you know. Waiting for my motorcycle. Sonny Keaton should have it done around February, and then we'll get that new album out, Iron Voodoo.
There you go. Heard a couple of tracks already. It sounds great.
Well, yeah, what do you think of that Saddle Tramp song?
I loved it.
Well, it's not. That's just rough mixes. We're still gonna get one of probably both the Fry brothers, Harry and Tommy. We're gonna get them on there playing some harmonica and singing backups.
Great.
And it's already got Big Mike Griffin on it, and it's a pretty cool little song, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
So, how you doing, brother?
Hanging in there.
Now the magazine, man. I see my good buddy's on the cover this month, huh?
Tony Pann, you bet.
Yeah, I tell you what, he is bigger than life, ain't he?
He sure is.
Now you started this a year ago, 2 years ago, or something like that?
In January we'll be coming up on 2 years of conception, and we introduced it May of '09 was the first issue out.
Very cool, man. So I know a lot of my friends like Chris Collin from Psychosaurus and Dave Nichols and all of them. Last couple of years have been rough, man, for the magazine. So how you faring in that?
I'm a duck on the water, man.
I heard that. So yeah, hey, like I say, the economy's pretty bad right now, and a lot of my friends that are builders, barely hanging in there or had to get out to business. So same thing with my internet show. I think the reason why my internet show is working is because folks ain't been going out like they normally do, so they come onto the computer,
That's for sure.
So,
they seem to be staying a little closer to home, and those $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 bikes just aren't. You're just not seeing them out there like you did.
Yeah, well, I noticed the guys that are surviving are the guys that are figuring out how to make them $20,000 bikes.
That's for sure.
So you travel a lot, or this is basically Midwest?
Midwest, upper Midwest. We get all around the state of Wisconsin, northern Illinois. I kind of trip back down to home in the southern Illinois every now and then outside St. Louis area. But we mainly kind of just feature what's going on in the upper Midwest. Very
cool. And I remember you was at the border rally. I didn't really get a chance to hook up with you, but it had me running around like a nut. But I think I seen you a couple of other places too.
Yeah, we've been out there a couple of different times out together. I think last time it was at the Summer Hummer.
Right. Well, Tony hooks me up all those shows out there, and I gladly appreciate everything he does for me.
Yeah, that's for sure. I was trying to get out to you the last time we seen you, but we didn't get around to it.
Well, I'm planning on doing a big tour for the 110th anniversary and coming out there and bringing some of my band. I usually use Dr. Snake All as my pickup band, but I think I'm just going to have Drew play bass and bring the rest of my band out.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So how'd you come up with the name Saddle Tramp?
Well, I tell you, it's just one of those things. I've got a good friend of mine, Maury. He kind of went by the name of Saddle Tramp, on and off all of his life in here, and he just was one of those guys that kind of the epitome of the biker. And that's basically what we are. We're the modern day cowboys out through there, just kind of getting out there and riding and wandering, and the nomadic rider, which is the nomadic cowboy, the Saddle Tramp.
Exactly, and let's get into a little bit of politics without getting into the politics. You're out there in the Midwest, and the main club out there is the Outlaws, and but in Chicago and up in that area, in the mid. They got some of the other boys too. Does that cause any problems with you over there with your magazine?
No, not really. We're pretty neutral. We run into all the guys everywhere on there, and we just we support everybody and on what they do and respect what everybody has to offer, and just kind of keep it down the middle of the road.
Very cool. That's what we do here at Biker's Inner Circle, and I'm going to be doing an interview with one of the Outlaws through Beverly Roberts, and I've had him on the show a couple of times, and I have banditos and and top hatters and blues fighters, and And you know, it's sometimes though, you know, it's like some of the magazines get a little scared of doing stuff on some of the 1% clubs.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a really touchy subject sometimes.
Oh, that's for sure. You know, we try not to offend anybody going this way or that way. You know, it's just we're all in this together, and we just try to stay about the writing and the brotherhood that's out there.
Exactly, and you know, there's a lot of good stories with those guys, and you know, my thing is, and I'm sure yours too, is preserving our history. And a lot of that history is not being preserved if you can't get those folks in your magazine and on the show and on the radio and all that stuff. You know, it's a big part of the culture. A lot of these guys that ride, it all came to be from a lot of the 1%. You know, I mean, I know when I was a kid out here in California, and I had my little Volkswagen and my guitar, and I was coming out here to be a rock star, and all of a sudden I seen about 500 motorcycles fly past me, Hell's Angels and stuff, and they roared by. Man, I was going, wow, I want to be one of those guys. You know, I was like 18 years old, but I mean, you know, it's the same thing with the Dave Mann odd stuff. You know, I mean, you know, when we were young, I mean, that was our upbringing, and you know, wanted to have the long hair and the beard and the tattoos and have a bike kind of like that, and that's how it all started.
Oh, that's for sure. You know, that's kind of one of the reasons that we did the article on Pann. I mean, as far as Wisconsin goes, you know, the guy's a legend that's out through there. He did a lot of good for the biker world and what's going on about it. And just we try to bring that to a lot of people. You know, we've mentioned his name around a lot of younger bikers, and they just have no idea who you're talking about. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding
me. That's a shame.
So we try to get those out and get those stories out to there of like what Pann and Vicky do out there for the motorcycle world and in the upper Midwest, and let them know that you know, there's a lot of history here. It's not only do we have Harley Davidson and S&S Motors and Drag Specialties and all these other companies that are from and based out of Wisconsin. There's a lot of people that just are a part of our whole biking culture.
Well, folks, for you who don't know who Tony Pann is, Tony Pann started. He's the founder of Wisconsin Abate. He's the founder of Bolt, and that's Bikers of a Lesser Tolerance. They kind of watch over Abate. And also, he was the first Sturgis Hall of Famer freedom fighter.
Correct.
Yeah. So I mean, and you know, like he really does, you know, try to keep things even, just like you do, you know, and me on the 1% thing. You know, like a lot of my songs I have written Hell's Angels stuff, like Tribute to Sonny and you know stuff like that, and I never thought I'd even get a chance to come play in Milwaukee because, you know, the Outlaws out there. And Tony hooked it all up for me to come play out there and meet the guys at the clubhouse and was the mediator or whatever you want to call it for me to get to know those guys and come out. And look, last year I got to play at the Harley Davidson Museum, and that was all because of Tony.
Sure.
You know, and like I say, Tony.
In Wisconsin.
Yeah, and, you know, and like anytime something comes up, like when the patch, the Mongols were losing their patch, you know, even though some, you know, people don't like the Mongols, and which kind of, you know, I'm in that boat too. But they, you know, Tony was trying to represent whoever, just because that patch could be taken away from everybody, you know. And like I say, when something comes up, he'll give me a call over here and say, hey, you know, the boys over there, they might want to know about this or something like that. And he's always really trying to help, man, and he really does care, and he's passionate about the two-wheel riders.
That's for sure. You see, a lot of good what he's doing. We're used to him out here with the Huppy and Abraham commercials. You see him on TV all the time.
Right. Yeah, I was out there. And I was at his house, and I seen one on TV. It was a trip. Those guys are another, you know, they support my show and everything. Huppy and Abraham and Michael and Roberta and all of them. They really take care of me.